Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's Senior Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link, like Gangsta Stride to the Bird Gang Nation.
He was the leader that we needed. So Zach Ertz is obviously going to go down as, one of the Eagle greats. He's going to be in the names of when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, you think Donovan McNabb and Brian Westbrook. And now we have to go ahead and throw Zach Ertz's name in that that long list. And so one of the things I'll say about the whole Zach Ertz situation, specifically from Howie Roseman, that I appreciate, we got to understand last year the Eagles had offers, 5th round, pick offers, 6th round pick offers. And Howie Roseman could have just gave them away, right? But he didn't do that. He waited. He sort of kept them until the timing was right. And I don't know if Zach Ertz could have gone to a better situation. You know what I mean? The Eagles are 2-4, but you go to a Cardinals team that is 5-0. I think one of the only undefeated teams in the National Football Team right now. So kudos to Howie Roseman, Jeff Lurie, and the Eagles franchise for handling this situation the right way. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Howie Roseman was sort of waiting for, the right time. I mean, when a man gets in front of a camera and cries on two separate occasions, you can't help but to love the guy, man. Zach Ertz, man, he's going to go down as one of the greats, man. I'm just excited to. I'm excited that he was a part of my generation coming up. You know what I mean? So.
Right, man, right. You know, but everybody kind of knew this. Like I was telling everybody in the beginning of the off season, man, it's like that day that I seen Howie Roseman stand next to Zach Ertz, you know what I'm saying? And Zach's on that one knee talking to him, you know. I was like, they're just talking about how he's like, I'm not going to just trade you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trade you for nothing. We're going to keep you on the team. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to let's see what I can get, you know, because you look at the deal in itself, you know. Tay Gallons is a decent cornerback out there, you know, up and rising cornerback in the league. And then a 5th round pick too. He's like, you know, I would want a little bit more for Zach, but from his play, Zach's still not the same guy he was before, you know, the Super Bowl, but he still is a you know, pretty good tight end in the league. So, you know, I think that's a fair trade. You know, he gets to go in terms of, like you said, the aspect of him going to a team that he wanted to go to, a contender that don't have a good tight end there right now, where he can step into that role and be, you know, a star like he wants to be. So, you know, like you said, kudos to Howie and the move that he made. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think Zach Ertz is about to eat. So if you don't got Zach Ertz on your fantasy team, make sure you get out there and go get him, because he's about to ball out over there.
Yeah.
Too much coverage going to Hopkins and AJ and Kirk and, you know, more, all them boys out there, you know, to the point where Zach's about to eat and eat well. You know, that offense is rolling on all cylinders, and I guarantee he's definitely going to add another piece to him. Better watch out, Cardinals. But let's get to our team, man. Another 6-point loss. You know, so another game where we didn't run the ball but one time in the first half, man. Tell me, man, give me your take on this game that we had before I start ratting off about all the things I don't like about it. I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I'll be honest, man. I want to start off like this. Okay, let's do something different. I want to, if I may, in front of your viewers and your audience, I want us to sort of hear again from Albert Einstein the definition of insanity. Okay.
Right.
The definition of insanity is I'm sorry. The definition of insanity is Nick Sirianni doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And that's what we saw again. Okay, that's what we saw. To me, this offense is out of rhythm. It can't get in sync. I was thinking about something, man, and one of the things that I was thinking about, because we're all talking about how, you know, Miles Sanders is struggling and, you know, he can't get going. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are really hurting because they did not opt to go with Deuce Staley as the head coach. Now you think about the position that, you know, Nick Sirianni played in college. And remember, he was a Division III wide receiver. Okay. He comes to, you know, now he's the head coach, and all of a sudden the Eagles are struggling very bad at the wide receiver spot. Now you think about Doug Peterson. He played in the NFL, but what did he play? He played quarterback. And who had success under Doug Peterson? Nick Foles. So I say all that to say, I personally think Nick Sirianni he's just not the right guy for the job. He's not the right guy for the job. I think, you know, some rookie coaches, they get these jobs and they get these positions that they don't deserve. Okay, if I'm Jeff Lurie, I'm sitting there. If I could ask him one question, I'm asking him, why would you want to hire someone that Andy Reid fired from his coaching staff when you have Deuce Staley sitting right there, who was a running backs coach that helped you win a Super Bowl, Okay, was a Doug Peterson elevated him to become assistant head coach. I mean, he was in prime position. I believe the identity of this team with Nick Sirianni is all over the place. You got Jonathan Gannon sitting up there saying, we don't run a defense. We don't run a 4-3 or 3-4. We just play football. So imagine being a first-time defensive head coach, defensive coordinator, coming in and talking to a Super Bowl winner in Fletcher Cox, a all-pro player, and Brandon Graham, and telling these guys, hey, guys, we don't have a system that we really like. Okay? So for me, this team is just all over the place. And I think Howie Roseman has to take a lot of the blame. I'm not ready to blame Jalen Hurts. Why? Because Jalen Hurts can't call the play and run the play. Okay? He can't, he's not doing both. He is just simply running the play. And for me, you know, when you don't allow your quarterback to get in rhythm, there are certain plays that you call to get in rhythm. Nick Sirianni is not calling these plays. He's abusing the screen game. And at this point, he's selfish. Here's another quote before I pass it to you. I just thought it was pretty funny. It says, you entertain people who are satisfied. Hungry people can't be entertained. See, Nick Sirianni could entertain us with his talks and his shirts and his hats and, you know, all of that because we just won a Super Bowl. We're satisfied. And as a fan, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, man, did I just approve this guy? Did I sign off on Nick Sirianni because I'm satisfied? Like, what is this really? And so for me, the Eagles have got to get this thing together. They just got to get it together and get it together quick.
Right. Facts, man. And I appreciate everything you just said. That was some good stuff there. My real take on Nick Sirianni is this. You know, you were a good coordinator, right? You know, and that kind of gives you your big kick because your next step is to be a head coach. But you are not, you're coming into this with an offensive game plan that is for a veteran team. You know what I'm saying? Like for those established teams already, for those established quarterbacks already. Then, you know, like last year you had Phillip Rivers, who's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? Like he is a staple in the NFL. He was on his last year. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to really mold things to him real fast. Now, you're taking Jalen Hurts and you're trying to make him a passing quarterback. Jalen has never, ever in his career, you know, college, high school, nothing, just been a pure passer. Jalen is an athlete, a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to scheme up the offense to cater to him. You know, you hear a lot of people say, oh, but Jalen's, you know, he's taking too long. He's only a one-read quarterback. Now, for those people, I just say this. Imagine you're this quarterback, right? And all you running are the same plays that the announcers know what plays you are about to run. The defense knows what plays you're about to run. Everybody knows what plays you're about to run. Plus, you are not running the ball, and half of your plays are play action. Okay? There's no give in a play action play when there's no run game. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do it. It's dumb. You know, it makes no sense. Like you said, it's insanity, right? And if you look at this is the NFL, man. Windows in the NFL are very tiny off jump, you know. And then you add the point where you don't have no run game. So now the linebackers, the safeties are all playing the pass. Now, Jalen Hurts spending, you know, the average quarterback gets about 2 to 3 seconds, you know, to get that ball off. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 to 3 seconds to get that ball off. But if you're taking the first second and a half to do a little play fake, right? And now you're up. Why do you think Jalen's not making it to the other progressions? You know what I'm saying? Because he's already took that first second, which if he was under center in a traditional offense, he would have to look at, you know, receiver 1, receiver 2, receiver 3. Now, when you're pulling out that play action, now you're already on the second count. Boom. We don't have our starting offensive line. We are rolling with 3 backups right now. People got to realize that. Diller's a backup. You know, we got a first-year player in Dickerson, and we got Jack Driscoll playing, who's a better tackle than guard, but he is playing guard right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. And not only to mention, the guy that we just signed for all that money was a left tackle. We're making him play right tackle. You know what I'm saying? That's different. When you have this guy playing left tackle the whole time. It is a difference going over to that right side. Now, he's not done that bad of a job, but, you got to take all these things into consideration. You know what I'm saying? So now Jalen comes out of his tackle. He's at 2 seconds now. His first read, is it open? No. By the time he's going to that second read, he's running. He's already moving. You know what I'm saying? He's already on the move because there's some kind of pressure coming from somewhere. Plus, we've been playing some really good teams. People forget that notion. You know what I'm saying? We've been playing some good teams. The Tampa Bay champions, KC in the Super Bowl last 2 years. Dallas leading the division, lost, 1 or 2 games already. You know what I'm saying? Those are pretty elite teams right now in the league to be looking at this. So you look at Jalen, now he's off to the races, scramble drill. Who's he going to hit? He throws it, he throws high, he throws low. These are all pressure things. You got to give Jalen some time. You can't have him playing 60 plays where every play is an RPO and he has to worry, should I hand the ball off? Should I keep it? Should I throw it? You know what I'm saying? That first second is like, should I be keeping the ball? You know what I'm saying? Or should I be handing the ball off? You know what I'm saying? That's too much to put on a guy that only played 8 to 9 games, in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much. And then the time window that you have by the time it is time for you to pass it, you're sitting there like, whoa, I got to get this ball off because these guys are chasing me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, who do I go to? You know what I'm saying? Whoever's open. Zach Ertz was there, and he's a little bit older in age, so he's not as fast as he used to be. You got Quez walking, running a deep route, but Jalen doesn't even see that because he got guys in his face. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the main thing with our offense right now is you got to go back to a more traditional offense. There's only 2 teams right now running this much RPO, and that's us and the Kansas City Chiefs, and look at our records. You know what I'm saying? Did you see Tom Brady when we just played him? Tom Brady, all he did was dump off passes. Boom, dump off, dump off, dump off. Those receivers didn't even do that much, as much as I thought they were going to do against us. He's just dumping it off because he's under center. He hikes the ball. He sees their man, playing defense. A running back out the back, that's wide open. One-on-one with the linebacker, I take that all day. This offense is not set up to be 24/7, like every play RPO offense. Now, can you mix RPO in there? Yes. I don't like the fact that Nick Sirianni thinks RPO passes and options and all that stuff is the running game. That's not a running game. You need to, you need plays where Jalen doesn't have to think. All he has to do is on this play is hike the ball and hand it off to the running back, period. That gives his brain a little bit more freshness, you know what I'm saying? He's not just thinking, what I got to do, You're putting too much pressure on this young guy.
Yeah, like I said, for me, that's why it all falls back on, Nick Sirianni. I think if I'm going to be 100% transparent, I think black quarterbacks who can throw the ball and run, they get this unfair stigma as though they can't throw the football. It's always the narrative. It's always the narrative. Because in week 1, nobody said that Jalen Hurts couldn't throw the football, right? But what did he have? He had his starters. He had his offensive line, right? So for me, I can't really judge Jalen Hurts right now because 3 starters are gone. Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, and Jordan Mailata is sort of playing all over the place. So for me as a fan, I'm sitting here saying, like, I'm already feeling like this is year 10 for Nick Sirianni. He's already in 5. And like that, my patience is running very, very thin with Nick Sirianni, especially when you read articles and this guy is saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to change anything I'm doing. See, that's that Carson Wentz sort of mentality. That's that Jim Schwartz mentality. And so, it's not all on Nick Sirianni, obviously, but, he has to do a better job. And for me, Jonathan Gannon, man, you just stand on the sideline like this the entire game. How do you watch guys get burnt? How do you watch your linebackers just look like they don't have a clue, and you just sit like this the entire game?
Now, I got one thing about Jonathan Gannon that I will say. Our defense have been playing pretty good football the last 3 weeks. Now, the part of this, Jonathan Gannon was used to having guys like, Can
I interrupt? Can I interrupt you really quick? Yeah. We had players on this defense that played well. Darius Slay, Steven Nelson, Fletcher Cox, and Javon Hargrave. I just want to interject and say that's my opinion. I don't think this defense as a whole has played well. You had players that sort of like stuck out to you. But when you look at the scheme, when you look at it from an academic perspective and guys' assignments and where guys need to be, I mean, the Carolina game, you got guys wide open in the end zone. Mm-hmm. So schematically, really, my perspective is Jonathan Gannon is being saved by some of these superstar players on this defense. Sorry about that. I just wanted to.
No problem. But I get what you're saying too. But that's why I say when it comes to the scheme, like I would say those first couple of games, yes, he was running the same vanilla defense too. But like as Nick Sirianni said, got into his butt, whatever. But whatever happened during that conversation, the defense changed. You know, we're not just running the same defense. But like I was saying, he had Kendricks and Barr. Those are elite linebackers, you know, running your defense. That the way this defense is set up. Now, I will say it's a better pass defense than we had last year, but it's a worse run defense, and it's because that linebacker situation. We don't have a thumper linebacker. We need some big boy that's going to go in there and meet these running backs at the hole and lay a hat on them. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. Singleton runs all over the field, catches, you know, getting ran over by – you seen it. Fournette was running them over. That's why Brady just kept going. Dude, I'm going to give you that one-on-one all day. And Singleton's there. That's why he has a lot of tackles.
You don't think that's
linebackers, man? I don't think the scheme is step. I think if we had a stud linebacker, our defense would look completely different.
We would look different because I think, you know, I think we would look different in the running game. I think our scheme on defense, Jonathan Gannon, if you're a great one thing about Jimmy Johnson, and he, you know, obviously the late great Jimmy Johnson, he disguised very well. Okay. The thing about Jonathan Gannon's defense for me is you're exposing your weakness. You're exposing your linebackers. And when you have two linebackers on the field, we're not even going to talk about Jannard Avery. Okay. I don't even want to talk about 5'8". Okay. So he can't even be making those kind of dumb penalties wearing a Trent Cole jersey. Like, how are you going to be an undisciplined player wearing the most disciplined player's number? But that's another video all by itself. But for me, Jonathan Gannon is putting too much. And shout out to Moochie Robinson and Daniel from the Bird Gang Mafia channel. They called it. They said we're going to lose because the Eagles defense is not built to have the linebackers attack the run and the pass. And when you're doing that, when Leonard Fournette is attacking the whole game, and then you got to drop back. I mean, this defense was gassed, but that is scheme, right? So you have Jannard Avery down by the line of scrimmage. What is he doing? He's not causing pressure, okay? He's not a linebacker, okay? We need to get Davion Taylor on the field, and I'm not mad at Davion Taylor, right? Because how do you expect guys to get in rhythm? And see, that's how you know that when one team is doing something, when one side of the team is doing something and the other side of the team has the same habit, something is in the water, right? So the Eagles offense can't get in rhythm and our defense can't get in rhythm. Okay, so you put Davion Taylor in the red zone. You didn't give him any snaps from the 20-yard line to the red zone. Now you put him in there and think he's supposed to make a play. How does that work?
But to that point, what you just said, how they said these guys are gassed. The reason why, if you notice most of these games, man, we're in there the first half of the game. But when you run this RPO pass offense that we run on the offensive side, you heard Devontae Smith at the end of his he was walking back to the locker room. He goes, I think we need to run the ball, period. You know what I'm saying? When you hear Mailata in interviews saying, they're like talking to him about the interception or whatever, he's like, man, I was just happy that we got some time to breathe. I was gassed for air, you know what I'm saying? Because you're running 3 and out, and these linemen are getting beat up because they're backpedaling for a whole game. You know what I'm saying? Like passing, and when you got young linemen and these physical linemen, why'd you have some 300-pound linemen, if you're not going to use their strength, which is running over, mauling over people? People are questioning Landon Dickerson. People are questioning Mailata. All these guys are road graders. You know what I'm saying? That means they oppose their will on the defensive line. If you got these guys backpedaling the whole game, why you think half our line's on the sideline now? Because, that's not a natural formation for someone to be backpedaling the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Like catching people. These are some big boys in the NFL in that defensive line. So I look at it like this. I watched the stat yesterday when I was doing the play-by-play. The Eagles went 3 and out, 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 3 and out. Those consistent 3 and outs is putting that defense back on the field. They are going to get gas. There's no defense in the NFL, period. I don't care the all-star defense you got, whoever you think is the best number one defense. If they are on the field for like, what's the game, 60 minutes, if they're on the field for 40 of those minutes, man, I promise you by the third, fourth quarter, they're going to get gas. And that's where the majority of our points come. That's when you see a lot of the mental errors come on our defensive side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not saying that we have a perfect defense by any stretch of the means, but what I am saying is the lack of running the ball and progressing the offense that can be consistent and drive the ball down the field is hurting us, especially against teams like Tom Brady, especially against teams like, Patrick Mahomes. Those are GOATs, man. They are perfected their offense. You know what I'm saying? They know the offense in and out. You know what I'm saying? They know blitzes, they know coverage, they know everything. So you got to play chess with these guys. They're going to score. They're going to do their thing. You really, most defensive coordinators can't stop that at all. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get theirs for sure. But when you're going 3 and out so many times, how many more opportunities do you expect the defense to stop them? We had turnovers. You know what I'm saying? We had 3 and outs in the game. You know what I'm saying? Where if our offense were to execute a good normal offense, we could be looking at a different score. You know what I'm saying? This is the fourth or fifth game where we only play 6. So this is the fourth game this year where I can honestly say that if we had a running game or we even tried to attempt a running game, that we could be looking at a whole nother record right now with the players that we got, with Jalen Hurts leading the way, with the defensive scheme, that we have. Because I feel like Gannon has waken up and that defense is looking a little bit better. We're starting to play some more, man. You starting to see Slay follow people. You know what I'm saying? You starting to see our top corner follow the top receiver and things like that. And that's what we needed. That zone thing where you're keeping Slay on this island. Both of these guys on the island 15 yards off the field was not working those first couple of games,
Yeah, and you said something that really sparked something for me. And I think that's just really what just happened. The Buccaneers was playing chess and the Eagles was playing checkers.
Yes.
And honestly, the data suggests that that's what was going to happen. When you look at Tom Brady playing in over 307 games now in his career, Jalen Hurts only has 8 career starts. Right. Bruce Arians, coaching for over 15 years. Nick Sirianni only has 5 starts as a head coach, and so we knew that coming in. But when you're watching the game, it's like you can't help but to say, man, this looks a little elementary to me, man. This looks too Pop Warner-ish. This looks too high schoolish, man. I mean,
not to cut you off, but look what Philly fan D said. Jalen always in the shotgun, no scripted plays and no blocking downfield. You know what I'm saying? You cannot come out the same formation. Twins on both sides, shotgun formation, single back. Every play cannot be your offense. That is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I don't even see Pop Warner teams doing that. You know what I'm saying? They'll line up in I formation and run the ball sometimes. They'll line up in trips, which we did do a little bit of trips too, but it's like the majority, every third play, you see them go back to that same setup. Devontae Smith, the famous route for Devontae Smith so far this year is that inside receiver goes straight up the field on a fly route, and Devontae cuts underneath. How many times have you seen that same play ran over and over and over and over again, where Jalen takes 2 steps back and then Devontae comes over, he tries to force it in there this offense is trash. What I'm saying? Like
trash can.
I can't even defend it at all because but you can't even I can't even blame the players. I promise you, the players feel the same way as us. They're like, hey, we don't want to have to do it, but that's the play that's called, and that's what we got to run. You know what I'm saying?
What's so crazy? Every fan sitting at home right now, understand these players. They're not dumb. They're thinking what we're thinking, but they're getting paid millions to, sort of keep it light and sort of hush hush. It was funny. I was watching Fletcher Cox's press conference last week, and towards the end of it, he was just talking about how pretty much he was saying how it's stupid that Jannard Avery has to learn how to play defensive end and go back to, playing linebacker. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's an identity that the Eagles have to get away from. where it's like we're having these guys play multiple positions. The Avonte Maddox, all right? There were some seasons ago where he had to step in and play safety, right cornerback in the playoff game against the Chicago Bears, nickel cornerback, right cornerback. I mean, these guys can never just sit in one place and learn. We're watching it. You look at Jordan Mailata, right? Left tackle, playing right tackle. Jordan Mailata beat out Andre Dillard. Andre Dillard needs to go to play the right tackle. We don't need to see what Jordan Mailata can do at the right tackle. We need to see what Andre Dillard can do at the right tackle. And so, to me, it points back to Howie Roseman, because I'm sitting up there saying, dude, what's getting you off? Like, you got JJ Arcega-Whiteside in there for what? The kid has more blocks than he has catches. It's like he's a better special teams player. And in today's press conference, when he was talking about Zach Ertz, he was just saying how we got a 5th round pick from Arizona, and we've hit on a lot of our 5th round picks. But what about your 1st round talent? Right? You got Jordan Mailata, who was a 7th round pick, kid didn't even know the color of a football. And your coaches turn him into a day one starter. And I think that really speaks to the fact that Howie Roseman, his poor drafts has caught up with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's nothing that we can do about it. You're sitting there looking at the secondary. You let Malcolm Jenkins go. Then you keep a one-legged Rodney McLeod. I'm sitting there looking at a Mike Epps, Marcus Epps, the other safety guy. What is he here for? He's a special team journeyman. I mean, the truth of the matter is this. The Philadelphia Eagles are a rebuilding team, and we have to face it as Eagles fans. Sometimes when we're fans, we're fanatic. And when you're fanatic, you're not thinking straight. You're just whatever. Oh, we're going to win a Super Bowl. And it's like, no, just because we are rebuilding doesn't mean that we can't compete, right? So I can't judge Jalen Hurts based off of the last 3 games. I can judge Jalen Hurts when he had Brandon Brooks, when he had Lane Johnson, when he had Jordan Mailata playing left tackle. What happened in that game? We won the game. The offense was looking good, and we just move on from it. But for me as a fan, it's frustrating, man, when you have head coaches who are so eager to come in the National Football League and prove themselves. Let the egos go, man. Like, let them go. Yeah. Like, you're wasting Fletcher Cox's time. What's going on?
Kelsey's time. All these guys that are putting out their hard work, sweat and tears, you're wasting their time. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were saying earlier. Like, you can't get, as a rookie head coach, you cannot come in with a solid plan like this is the gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dougie P kind of had a little, that's what got him off our team, but he had a little room for it because he just won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I can see, right, winning a Super Bowl, writing a book, now you feel all cocky, you're feeling yourself. That's why you're coming out with this attitude. You have not won nothing in the NFL, Absolutely. My guy. If things aren't working in game 1, that means
you got to change it.
Switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you have to scrap the whole playbook, but definitely you said you had 100 plays for each situation or offense. You said this. So why are we only still running the same 10 plays?
Can I ask you a question? But that's the problem in Philadelphia, BIRDGANG. That's the problem, BIRDGANG 31. The Eagles have a problem with giving guys the keys way too fast. We did it with Carson Wentz. Oh, Carson, come up from North Dakota and we're going to give you the keys. You're not going to have any competition. It failed. Nick Sirianni, come on in. It failed. We got to get away from just handing guys the keys. That's not the culture. And that's why I said earlier, that's why you got to keep guys like Deuce Staley, because not only did he coach the culture, he lived in the culture. He suited up in the culture. He put on his pads in the culture. This was a guy who was a running back, a great running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm telling you, we are struggling right now because they tried to cover all of this up, make it seem like Nick Sirianni, he is losing the locker room. He is losing the locker room. When you have 80,000 fans at Lincoln Financial Field stand up all at once, not because of a turnover, but because you simply hand the ball off, you have a problem in Philadelphia.
And then you see what happened when Booby got the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody said, oh, Booby's not good no more. Booby's this, Booby that. Booby is frustrated. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen Booby go spike the ball in front of his head coach and be like, look at him like, hey, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, yeah, but he's missing holes. I'm like, what would you do? You know, I played running back all the way up to semi-pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't give me the ball, I'm frustrated as hell. You know what I'm saying? You give it to me once in the first quarter, and then I don't see another handoff until like the second, third quarter. I'm frustrated as hell.
But he doesn't have his offensive line.
Yeah.
See, when people say stuff like that, see, you have fans, and then you have people that watch football, and then you have Eagle fans, people that actually know what's going on. He doesn't have his offensive line. Okay, just because the Eagles signed Jordan Mailata to this big contract does not mean he's a top 10 left tackle. I'm sorry, I just got to put that out there. He is still developing, okay? He's shown great promise. I'll give him that, great promise. But he is not a superstar in this league, right? So when you lose Brandon Brooks, when you lose Lane Johnson, okay, what do you expect? And so that's why I say, as a rookie head coach, you know, you have got to be more humble to sit up there and say, if I'm not doing this, you're talking about accountability. Where is the accountability for Nick Sirianni?
Oh, good point on that. Good point on that. Before you go on there, sorry to cut you off, but yes, that's what I was saying. You seen Fletcher Cox, right? Check this out. So Nick Sirianni, I even think, is taking some of the credit for what happened with Gannon. Fletcher Cox, the star of the team, came out, was like, hey, this guy's moving me around till I can't even get comfortable in the game right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So then Nick comes out, was like, yeah, I talked to JG, you know what I'm saying, had to let him know that he needs to switch it up. Who is the star player on our offense? They're all young. So none of them have leverage, and none of them is inside the head coach's face saying, hey, coach, we need to run the ball.
But that's why
it's garbage. So who is that person to do it for? You know, but someone needs to do it. And before you go, shout out to the 26 in the chat. Please hit that like and subscribe to me and my boy Pablo's channel. All links are inside the description. It'll mean a lot to us. Much love to you guys for joining. And like my boy Grant is here and Mrs. BIRDGANG say, drop your questions. I will get to them. I know I'll be moving kind of slow, but you know, I had a lot to say today, so I'm going to get to them. So make sure you keep dropping them. Go ahead.
And you know, one of the things that I was saying, and this is why I was beating on the table. Eagles, can you please go get a Julio Jones? Can you please go get somebody like that? So when you have a rookie head coach that doesn't know what he's doing, now what you do is you depend on your veteran leaders, and that is the red flag, and that's the telltale sign that Nick Sirianni is a rookie head coach. One of the things that Doug Peterson did very, very well is when he could not get it in order, he depended on his veteran players, your Malcolm Jenkins, your guys like that, and we don't have that guy, right? So, if you listen to these guys in a press conference, what does Devontae Smith say all the time when they ask him who's the leader in that wide receiver room? Everybody. No, if Julio Jones was on this roster, Julio would say, I am the leader. I'm the head honcho in this wide receiver room. And he would go to Nick Sirianni and say, hey, look, man, we got to change some things around. We have to do something different. Right now, this Philadelphia Eagles team is a rebuilding team. And to every fan, that is okay. Wait. Did Birdman Birdman just say Jalen Hurts needs to be benched? Oh, my God.
No.
Stop it.
Okay, this is what I want to tell the fans too. You got to look at this, guys. I want you guys to do something for me. I want you guys to look up all your, you know, who's the best quarterback, from Tom Brady to Mahomes to Josh Allen to all these guys that you guys think are so great in the NFL right now. And I want you to look up their first 9 games of their career. And then I want you to take Jalen Hurts, even though we know he has a lot to learn, baby. He definitely got a lot to learn, but put his stats up against their stats first 9 games. And then I want you guys to come back to me and tell me that he needs to be benched still. You know what I'm saying?
Watch this, though. But watch this. Isn't it ironic? And I think I don't know if Birdman really means it. I think he's just trying to start some trouble. But isn't it ironic that Jalen Hurts gets 9 games and people are calling for him to be benched, but Carson Wentz gets 5 years. Woo! 5 years and nobody says anything. And then when he's finally benched, he can't even do what a Zach Ertz did. Look you in the mirror as a fan and say, hey, man, I love playing in Philadelphia, you know, but, you know, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. It's so funny. It's just so ironic, you know, when quarterbacks of color, what they have to go through. And I'm not turning this into a race thing. I'm just merely stating facts, man. Carson Wentz, 5 years, and no one talked about him being benched. And the final year he got benched, it's a problem. Jalen Hurts put the points on the board and got the Eagles to 22 points. He ran those touchdowns in, okay? So we got to be real. When Nick Sirianni's offense was not working, Jalen Hurts took it upon himself, and he made those plays with his legs, okay? So for me, Jalen Hurts, man, let's just be honest. He got drafted to a bad situation.
Yeah, I feel
from
bad
the get-go.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody know when you got your leading receiver that everybody loves, Mr. Slim Reaper himself, saying we need to run the ball. He knows, you know, Slim Reaper came from Alabama. You know what I'm saying? That's a wide open offense. Alabama's dominating because they do both. You know, there's a guy in Pittsburgh right now who is becoming a really good back in the NFL in Harris because he was a beast at Alabama. You know what I'm saying? He opened up things for Devontae Smith to make the touchdown, Mechie to make the touchdown. What's his name? The other guy from Alabama, Waddle to make these touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? It was a group effort. You need the run game to complement your pass. And that's why I say Nick Sirianni's offense isn't totally trash. If you ran the ball in normal situations, it would be a lot better. People would be a lot more open. Jalen Hurts would get that much more time to throw the ball.
They don't respect the run.
Very simple. The defense would be rested, and they'd be playing a lot better in the third and fourth quarters when we need them the most, even though they've been getting turnovers late. Like, I give them props for the turnovers they've been getting.
Hey, can we stop there and sort of sit in the game that Fletcher Cox has? I just want to go ahead and give him a round of applause because a lot of people are not going to give him his just due. But watch this. Fletcher Cox had to play the interception. That was because of Fletcher Cox. And so we always talking about, oh, he's not getting the sacks. He's not producing here. He's not producing there. He makes game-changing plays. And we saw it last night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Birdman's serious about that. He's serious.
I can't, but I talked to him offline, and I just refuse to believe he really believes this.
To even say that, like you said, like, what more do you want from this guy breaking records? Like, he is literally breaking records, and we see the growth he still needs. Like, I seen someone say, "Oh, you can't say it to GM and the coach and not give." No, I'm not dissolving Jalen Hurts, you know, for some of his decisions. You know what I'm saying? But you have to also understand football, understand it's a team sport, and understand the pieces that he is still missing. You know, we thought it was great what he did last year with the B team. You know what I'm saying? He basically got the B team all over again with a couple of new parts to it. You know what I'm saying? That offensive line is abbreviated. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you can't expect you just pay Mailata all this money to be your starting left tackle and think that he's just some super all-pro that can go side to side and play any position. Like, he just became good at left tackle. Let the boy still play there and grow. We were expecting him to become that elite left tackle this year, and now you got the boy playing right tackle. You know, there's little simple things like that. It's like, makes no sense at all. Now you say, well, Dillard can't play the right now. Well, why is Dillard still on the roster? You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't you get rid of the guy? Jack Driscoll played some good right tackle. You know what I'm saying? He's been in the fire already. Why did you continue to let him play right tackle? You know what I'm saying? Why did you even move him up? Because you didn't want to sit your first round draft pick. Now, that's something that I can see being a Howie move. And
it's the arrogance. It's the arrogance.
All over it.
It's the arrogance with this. It's Howie Roseman, man. It's the arrogance. It's the arrogance. And for me, I'm sitting up there saying, I can't, when I watch this team, I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, Andre Dillard is really Hollywood Brown. The Eagles could have drafted, he was on the board when we took Andre Dillard. Imagine this offense with Hollywood Brown. Imagine this offense, Hollywood Brown, DK Metcalf, and Devontae Smith. We are suffering right now. We are suffering right now.
That's true for most young quarterbacks understand the game. And that's what I'm saying. Since you believe that, McDonald, I'm not doubting what you're saying, but go look at the stats. Stats don't lie. You know what I'm saying?
So ask him a question. Birdman, can I ask you this question?
Go ahead.
And I want to ask your audience this question. Why is it that we're hearing more about a second round quarterback in Jalen Hurts more than the number one quarterback from last year in Trevor Lawrence? Why are they not talking about the kid up there with the New York Jets? Okay, so Jalen Hurts is getting more scrutiny being a second round guy, right? With the team that we've been reshuffling since week 1. All right, but no one is talking about Trevor Lawrence. Okay, nobody's talking about. So when you criticize Jalen Hurts, turn on the tape to Trevor Lawrence. Okay, just turn on the tape.
And my deal is wait till he plays the full season. Period. He's 9 games into the NFL. And that's why I do not absolve him from not making all the right decisions. But what do you expect? He's still basically a rookie. He's still basically playing his rookie season. You know what I'm saying? 9 games. Last year, they played 16 games. We played 17 this year. Last year, he played 16 games, and he only played 4 of those games. And really, 3.5 of those games, because the fourth game, he got pulled at halftime. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is still learning. He had a whole nother offensive scheme last year. You know, he came and learned a whole new scheme this year. And if you can say that the coach is having horrible play calling, then he has to do the play that's called. You know what I'm saying? He is not, some elite quarterback that can just change the plays. Y'all act like changing the plays at the line of scrimmage is all on Jalen Hurts. Tom Brady didn't even start doing that to his 4th year. He got tired of seeing everybody consider Peyton Manning the best, even though he was winning championships. He's like, well, Peyton Manning is his own offensive coordinator. Why can't I? And Belichick finally let him, after that 3rd, 4th year, start calling his own plays. Other than that, Tom Brady was calling every play that Belichick and that offensive coordinator called. So why do you guys expect Jalen Hurts in his first 9 games to be sitting there audible plays at the line?
Because that's what they do to quarterbacks of color, man. They put so much on them. I like Matt Owens' comment. He says, I was high on Tate Godwin. That may be a sneaky good trade for the Eagles. I actually was too. I thought the Eagles, he was, really rangy. He kind of reminds me, I hate to say this name, but in build, he reminds me of a Kerry Williams, but I think he's a little faster. He's a little faster than Kerry Williams, but I like the aggressiveness, that he plays with. Somebody said, what's the point of trading for him if he's not going to see the field, or we won't even run a dime package? So, I mean,
But you might see him, because when you get outside of Maddox, who's left? McPherson's still learning. He's a rookie. Josiah Scott haven't touched the field the whole year. You know what I'm saying? So if this guy's better than those guys, he's going to play.
Yeah.
They're still getting in the game, And even with the Zach Ertz, we got a decent, bigger frame, lankier cornerbacks, which we still do need on this team when we go against teams like San Diego that have all 6'5", 6'4" receivers over there.
He could have helped us against Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams and stuff like that. Yes.
Mike Evans.
Yeah. We're going to need that size, when we're going against San Diego this year, and other receivers of that caliber, So that was a great move. And to get a pick with the guy, that's cool, whatever, because people didn't realize. I said this a long time ago. Tyree Jackson is coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you heard Roseman today talk about, we like what we're seeing in him. He's been working hard to come back out. We like what we see in that practice. Tell me, who thought that Tyree Jackson was even practicing? Who even knew that he was already back on the practice field? It makes me question, was the injury even as bad as they said he was, or did they already have this planned out where they were going to let Ertz ride out to the trading deadline before they traded him? You know what I'm saying? So we said, we're going to just go ahead and dump your IR right now. You get practice, you get healed, you just warm yourself up. We don't even know what's going on behind the scenes at all, 0%. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyree Jackson was a beast in training camp. He was doing better than Goddard and Ertz before he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that they were saying about him was his pass block. His pass blocking needed to be worked on, his run blocking, but that was what you get from most, receiving tight ends out there. But the boy was a freak of nature. They're saying he had same athleticism as Pitts, coming out of college, he was a quarterback. So, I really believe this team's about to turn it on this second half of the season. You know why? Because everybody knows one thing. The hardest game was our first 6 games. Look who we got left. We got the Giants twice. Total trash team right now. You know what I'm saying? The Giants ain't winning nobody, especially with Saquon now. I think Daniel Jones might be back, but Danny Foodsampson is not a good quarterback, so whatever about that. You know what I'm saying? We got Washington football team twice. That the only thing that's even good on their team is their front four on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got 2 of those. That's 4 games. We got the Cowgirls again, which is going to be another test, but I think everybody knows what the Cowboys do in December and, late in the season. So that's not even too much of a worry. We got the what? Who was left? We got on there the Lions, I think. The Raiders, who just lost their head coach. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see how good they play this Sunday, but we got them next week with no coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got, who else we got? Denver Broncos, who ain't really that scary. You know what I'm saying? We played our tough teams, and the good thing was we didn't get smoked by Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we got smoked by Tampa Bay, like completely blown out of the water by Tampa Bay, I'll be looking a little bit more worried what I am right now. But the fact that we were able to do things against Tampa Bay with that explosive offense and that defense on that team, it keeps me thinking, okay, so these elite teams we can't beat right now because it's our very first season. We got rookie head coaches and rookie players. Okay, we couldn't beat the elite teams. Why would you expect we could? Our fan side wanted us to, but in reality, we all knew these games were probably going to be a loss. We all kind of knew Kansas City was going to be a loss. We kind of all knew Tampa Bay was going to be a loss before the season even started. So to get too depressed about it is beyond my,
Yeah, I'm not. I'm okay with losing to the greatest quarterback to ever touch a brown football. I'm sorry, I was reading the comments. One thing I noticed, though, is that, and this is why I say Nick Sirianni's in dangerous territory. I think he's on the hot seat, maybe not in mainstream media, but I think within his locker room, he's definitely on the hot seat. Because one thing I can say about this team is we are fighting to the end, and that's a good sign. It's really a red flag when you have a team that's playing together and trying to really play despite the bad play calling. And so that's why I said, man, the Eagles have to be, Nick Sirianni specifically, drop the egos, man. Listen to your players. Do what you got to do, and get back to whatever we did in week 1. Okay, do that. Like, let's get back to whatever that was. We got away from it because I don't even think week one we saw a whole bunch of like screenplays. We maybe seen 1 or 2 the entire game, but not like we're at the point where we're running like 10 screenplays back to back to back to back. So it's kind of crazy. It's unfortunate. Again, our offensive line is reshuffling, is discombobulated. And then Jalen Reagor is 23. Devontae Smith is 22. Our oldest wide receiver, and he's on our practice squad, is what's the kid? He's actually from where I'm from. John Hightower. He's 25. You know what I mean? We're a rebuilding team, and honestly, again, like I said earlier, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And as an Eagles fan, the best thing that I can do right now on this live is to sort of help everybody reposition their thinking with the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, just accept what we have to accept. We're rebuilding. We're going to get better. We are competitive, but we don't have all the pieces that we need right now at all.
Shout out to my boy Birdman 951 with the super chat, 199 super chat. Much love. He says, I'll join y'all real quick if it's cool with it. Hey, Birdman, you know what I'm saying? Why not? Let us go get a little bit down the chat, then I'll drop that link in there and let anybody want to get on here, talk a little bit. And then where were we at here? We had a question for you too. Let me get back to it. Damn, I am far behind in this chat. It gets heated when I be going at it, man. It's hard for me to stop and start pushing these buttons, man. Grand Sir had a question. Where was it at? I was on it too. He's got here. But go ahead, keep continuing what you were saying until I find this.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, man. I just don't know, man. It's just you know, this it's weird. It's like the offense with Nick Sirianni. By in the first half, we couldn't even generate over 80 yards of total offense, and Jonathan Gannon in the Buccaneers game. I mean, when we played last night's game, he gave up back-to-back 75-yard drives, back to back, and he's still doing this. Is sitting around, just sitting around, just like a bump on the log. Doesn't have a clue.
Sometimes when you see it in his office, he sees what's going on in the field.
He doesn't have a clue, and this is what I'm saying, man. Like, this is why you never give. I'm tired of coaches and people getting jobs because of who they work under. Oh, we're going to hire Nick Sirianni because of Frank Reich. We're going to do it. It's like, no, man.
Or go back to the day where you hired a head coach, but you also hired the offensive coordinator. You also hired the defensive coordinator. That was how it used to happen back then. These head coaches are getting, like you said, they're getting too much freedom to bring whoever they want. Hire your head coach who you think is going to be the guy, but also hire offensive coordinator that you want to mold your team around. You know,
and that's why I say Andy Reid is the greatest Eagles coach ever. I would say the greatest coach ever, because when he first came to Philadelphia, he was calling plays. When it didn't work, he brung in Marty. He deferred the play calling to Marty, and he just became the overseer. Yeah. Nick Sirianni is not ready to be a head coach. I mean, a head coach, he could be a head coach, but he can't be a head coach that is full-time and head coach and offense and monitoring the defense. Like
why can brain striking over?
Like, can we start labeling these head coaches? Because you know what they do to Nick Sirianni has ADHD. He can't do it. He needs to focus on one thing. One thing, and that's being able to say, okay, defense, let's motivate. Offense, let's pick it up, guys. Let's do what we got to do. But to have him, he's over there calling plays and putting dots and got 5-10 different pins on the side of his hat. The kid he's a kid. Yeah, he is a kid. Let's tell the truth. Nick Sirianni is not ready to be the Eagles head coach. He's nothing but a yes man to how he's this. He's a puppet. How he says right arm move, left arm move. He's a puppet, man. He is a puppet.
Well, let's get some of these questions. We're going to say any rumors which Eagles might be in a trading block. Who would you trade if you were the GM?
That's a tough question. Let me just say this: I'm not trading Fletcher Cox. So let's stop it. Because what's going to happen is, see, we think the grass is greener on the other side. Fletcher Cox is going to go to another team, and then you don't really understand the value until something is gone. Okay, we know the value of Carson Wentz because what is he doing in Indianapolis? The same thing he would have did here. So we know the value. But if you take away Fletcher Cox, no,
everybody like the Carson Wentz thing was like 1 year thing. He was digressing ever since after the Super Bowl. That injury really affected him, and then not only that, he was mentally broken. You know what I'm saying? He was mentally broken, and I don't even know why. Anybody that the team didn't have my back. They gave me $30 million a year, my guy, just because they had to stop paying these backup quarterbacks $10-15 million to back you up because you got hurt every single year after. You can't get mad that they went out and drafted a Jalen Ertz in the second round. You know what I'm saying? You listen to the narrative, oh, you drafted in the second round, must be your replacement. No, they drafted the second round so they can have a good backup in case you get hurt again and they don't have to pay them all this money.
But logic, when you give somebody the keys, when you give them the whole steak dinner, you can't offer them McDonald's later on down the road. But just to answer that question really quick, honestly, I would have to trade Darius Slay. And I know people want to say, oh, no, not Darius Slay because of the 2 recent interceptions. But he's not making the impact for me. I need more. I just need more from Darius, man. I feel like there are some games he's not showing up. He's not showing up. And scheme-wise, just like for me, I know we got 3 first-round picks. And the reason why I say trade Darius Slay is because I would want to go get the young kid out of LSU, Derek Stingley Jr., for me in the draft. So Darius Slay, you're past 31, and that's still young in football, but I'm good on Darius Slay.
Facts. He said, could you imagine Hurts on Kansas City, the Rams, Saints, or Buffalo? He'd be showing mass drives right now. those teams know how to coach quarterbacks. Yeah, man. Like they're trying to make him a pure passing quarterback. That's something you do later in your career. As your career develops, you learn how to pass better. You know what I'm saying? You learn this stuff. But even look at Michael Vick. Look at Lamar Jackson. These guys are athletes. You know what I'm saying? Michael Vick really wasn't a passing quarterback till he came to Philly. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta, he was all right. He had a bomb as an arm. But his passing when he had Deshaun Jackson, that happened when he got to Philadelphia. And how many years in his career was that? You know what I'm saying? Why is everybody so accepted to have these quarterbacks be able to do it back in the day? But now it's like Jalen only gets 9 games to be already there. You know what I'm saying? That just to me doesn't sit right with me.
But I think that's the problem, man. You have a Division III wide receiver as your head coach. I mean, former Division III player as your head coach, and you had a Doug Peterson, NFL quarterback, doing what he had to do, man. So,
What up, Patrick? Said Jalen has a decent offensive line. He had a decent offensive line, really? With 2 starters? That's a decent offensive line to you? Could you imagine if Dallas was down to 2 starters? How good would Dak be right now? How good would Zeke be running the ball right now? With 2 starters on your offensive line, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at the whole picture. You can't just look at the parts of the picture you want to look at. These are all things that are affecting his play, period. The coach is affecting his play. You know, putting too much on his table affecting his play. Offensive line not being there affecting his play. Not running the ball is really affecting his play. Every quarterback, even, you know, everybody
wants Jalen Hurts to put on his shirt and forget his pants and go get a job. You got to put on everything. You got to get your pants, the shoes, your hat. You got to get everything, man. It's tough.
Let's see what else we got in here. He said Dak had Kellen Moore, an offensive genius, while Jerk has a guy who rocks in his head. Facts. You know, that's true. Until Nick Sirianni proves to us that he can call more than the same 5, 6 plays, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're looking at. It's a horrible offensive coordinator. He underthrows balls consistently, and it always turns out as a pick. Always. He had 1 pick last game, but Brady had a pick too. You know what I'm saying? Actually,
listen.
Brady had 2 picks last game.
Always.
Anybody said anything about Brady because he won the game?
But listen to it, though.
Jalen had more stats. No, okay, go ahead.
Listen to it. Birdman, listen to it. Always. Listen to that word. Always. The man played 9 games. Always.
Man.
Talk to me when he got 10 years under his belt.
Okay, Birdman, we're going to let you in here, buddy. Let me see.
I'm too hyped tonight, man. That loss.
Right? I don't even have let's see. Let me go ahead and do that. Allow you to explain. All right, my guy. Shout out to everybody out here. Yeah, we're still rocking 25 strong. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe to Pablo's channel, man. He is growing. He just got back. Let's get him up there where he needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Go hit that like and subscribe for both of us. Didn't notice anything. Post a link and I'll join.
Yeah, I got to hear this take from my brother Birdman. I got to. What's up, man? Talk to me.
What up? What up? Let me. I don't know if I get. It's a little dark in here. A little dark. I'm in my dark days, man. Hey.
Yeah, it's some dark times right now in Philadelphia.
All right. First of all, shout out to y'all for doing your thing today. It's much love, much respect. We got to hold down everybody accountable, even the Eagles content creators. So shout out to y'all for talking today. So let me get into the meat and potatoes. Why I said Jalen Hurts needs to be benched. It's not because I'm not blaming this on Jalen Hurts. I'm blaming the Philadelphia Eagles for allowing this catastrophe of what they're trying to call a football game. You guys are not even going back to basics. You ain't going back to fundamentals. It looks like a damn circus. It don't even need to be that. It is so dead. I could put BIRDGANG out there as a coach and Pablo as a coach and me as a coach, and we could try better than what we're seeing.
And
You
we gonna get
guys
it
are
done.
letting this
Yeah.
team,
I'm
you
getting
are
it done. I'm
letting,
running mouth all day, baby.
you are letting this team fall. You are letting this team, and you are letting the quarterback fall flat on his face, and he's gonna get the blame because he is the captain of the ship. And Howie Roseman, this is what you put all your money in and all your investment, all the talk, all the picks, and all this. This is your game plan. And you can see that you're meddling with what is on the field. It don't make sense. You don't make sense. And guess what, guys? Guess what? Jalen Reagor, and I'm not bullshitting on this. Jalen Reagor is on the trading block.
He
You know
got
what?
to go. He has to go.
You know, you already know there's okay. What happened with Carson Wentz when he started trying to throw little shots at the fans or anybody, any teammate that throws shots and say, "Oh, once you start letting fans dictate how you're going to play on the field, it's a wrap because you mentally cannot handle it. You cannot let the fans dictate how you're going to play on the field. You play on the field, you do you." Because if Jalen was going to be on Twitter and read everything that's being said right now, oh man, you think he's playing some bad ball right now? It would get even worse. But the thing is, Coach Sirianni is letting your boy fall. This whole idea, this whole concept, what he's doing is ridiculous. And you know what? If I was Miles Sanders, I'm dipping too. Because this looks like dog crap. This is pathetic in so many ways. So when I say Jalen Hurts, I'm saying for him to be benched, it's because I'm not putting it solely on him. I'm putting it on up and everybody else that's surrounding him. This is not football. This is like you're guessing at this point. You think you should do this. You think you should do that. We already know about the makeshift O-line. We're like a merry-go-round when it comes to O-line. But the thing is that you're not even sticking to basic fundamentals, which is what me and Pablo and everybody's been preaching in the beginning. You don't have to make it this rough. It's not this rough. You don't run my mans in the fourth quarter when the game's almost over. And then you're gonna act and say, hey, well, that was an RPO. Man, don't even start that, man. Don't even start that. The frustration is exactly what you guys are saying in the locker room. This locker room is disgruntled. You ain't going to get wins with a disgruntled locker room.
Facts. That was the reason why we lost so many games before, because everybody was divided, you know? And I feel like, oh, this is the year we're all together. You know what I'm saying? And you are making us divide, you know, not by choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot have your star players from Mailata to probably even Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith all saying, why aren't we running the ball again? To Miles Sanders, like, what's going on here? Like, I thought we were going to run the ball. I thought I was going to get some carries this year. You know what I'm saying? I thought that, you know, we're going to have a balanced attack. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not balanced. You can't be one-dimensional. What happens when the team scores on another team and go up by 2 touchdowns? You know? The other team has to just pass. That makes them one-dimensional. That's why it's harder for them to come back.
Well, Nick Sirianni is a liar, man. Come on, think about it. In the offseason, what did he say? Oh, we're going to have Jalen Reagor play the slot. We're going to run the football. He's lying. And this is why I'm telling you guys. Let me pull it up, man. I have to pull up this quote, man, because I think as Eagles fans, we were asleep. We ate the cheese. It says, you entertain people who are satisfied. I believe as a fan base, not all of us, but some of us, we were satisfied. All right. And we fell for the okie doke. He came in here wearing players' jerseys, wearing hats, trying to be the cool kid. And then when you got thrusted and you had to show up as a head coach and you had to get grown men together, you got 20 pins on the side of your head because you got a job. Have you guys ever lied? Have you guys ever lied on the application when you knew you weren't really qualified for the job? That's what's going on in Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni lied. He told Howie Roseman, yeah, man, I know how to drive a stick shift. Yep, I can do it. Yep. And they told him, said, okay, cool. We'll come to Philadelphia and drive this automatic. And he's crashing the bus, guys.
That's true. I
He
like that.
doesn't know. Birdman.
I'm a put this in Nick
Fuck
Sirianni's office, man, because I'm gonna call Michael Myers on his ass, man.
Yeah, man. He lied. He lied, man. This entire offseason. You know,
That's exactly what
lied.
happens when you don't have your starting offense. Jalen is running for his life all night. You know what I'm saying? Like like I said, that time difference. This is NFL. You only get 2 to 3 seconds tops. You know what I'm saying, to make the pass. You know, if you're spending the first second and a half faking a run that's not even pulling no linebackers or no safeties up at all, 0%. These guys aren't even budging. Like, they want to even act like they're going to go stop a run because they know we're not running the ball. That is a huge problem. I don't understand how people don't see that. You know, like, that is a huge problem. If you're doing play action, you're not getting any reaction off of it. That's the whole point of calling the play action play, because you're only calling it to get the reaction. But if you're not running the ball, you're not going to get the reaction. Why do you keep doing it?
Because listen, I know I keep saying this, but we have to, man. We have to, you know, listen. The great Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is he said the definition of insanity is Nick Sirianni doing the same, calling the same play, calling the same screens over and over and over again. He's a kid, man.
Yeah, and it's just like, are they playing some kind of evil trick on us because they want like the best draft pick or something like that? You're just gonna keep doing that to Jalen. You're gonna keep those whack ass plays, and you're just gonna is that what this is? I don't understand. If that's the point, man, like I said, I'm saying bench Jalen because you're making his stock go down. In the Dow Jones, Jalen Hurts' stock is going down. You are killing this man. You are destroying Jalen Hurts in front of our own eyes, man. And you ain't throwing no lifeline. You ain't throwing no life jacket. You ain't doing nothing. And we're just fans. We are fans. We're not even coaches, and we can see what the problem is.
We're not even in the locker room.
That is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, again, as much as I want to go in on Sirianni, I gotta go in at Howie, man. You did all your magic money and all that stuff, Magic Mike type stuff or whatever, but you did not focus on the coach because you literally grab Nick Sirianni and you put him on your lap and you have him talking for you.
That's funny.
RPO. This is everybody could see it. Go look when you shout out to E-Rock. He was down there showing all the fans. They are pissed, man. They're selling their tickets because you know why the Eagle fans are selling their tickets? Because they are that pissed off that you can read what the hell they're doing. They are pissed off.
The commentator calls the plays before the plays even snap. When you line up in the same formations, there's only so many things you're probably going to do out of those formations, my guy. You know, you're limiting yourself. You're making yourself look horrible. You know what I'm saying? This is your offense, Nick. You can't blame the players for not executing. Oh, I think it's just we need to execute better. Execute when you do the play once. You do the play again. You do it again. You're executing the same play that they know. It's like, here you go, defense. Here's my playlist. This is what we're going to run at you. Now, do whatever you want with it. You know, but we're going to still try to see if we can score. You know?
And we can't even get a fair assessment, guys. Miles Sanders is due for a contract, and the same with Dallas Goedert. But you want us to pay these guys big money on that production, but that falls on the coach, man. You are designing these lousy, ridiculous, childish plays. I mean, they're saying that this is high. You guys are even saying this is like high school, college stuff.
No. This is elementary. No, this is Pop Warner. This is Pop Warner. Hold on. This is Pop Warner Philadelphia football. This is the PPP loan. Nick Sirianni got us on the Pop Warner Philadelphia football. This is the PPP loan.
Right. It's like I'm gonna challenge my son on Madden, and he don't know how to play, and he's doing is picking RPOs, and I'm just in the backfield just waiting for him to run the ball, do something with it. That's the same thing, man. I was shout out to King, man. It's saying the same thing. This is just I cannot believe what we are really watching. I was sitting there looking at the game, and I was losing my mind at the same time. I was like, "Give me another drink, because this ain't making no sense. This don't make no sense." It's just. I mean, how could you do this to the Eagle fans? You really think that we're that dumb? You really think that we're dumb? It don't work that way.
Let me ask you guys a question. Does Jeff Lurie deserve any blame for where the Eagles are? Where
yes,
we are right now?
Because he right now is him and Jeffy Pop over there. They're just like they're boys, man, and that relationship's got to come to an end, man. Come on, Jeffrey, you know better than this, man. We don't need no puppet master in here. We need a real coach. We need a coach and that's gonna run the rock. And what a shame, man. You came from Indy. Do you see how when Carson can get a good running game going over there? I know the record doesn't really show it, but do you see how much better Carson could look when you run in the ball? And boy, I forgot how many yards he got or whatever. But you can't. I don't know. That was fool's gold. What I thought we were getting something from Indy, but I bought it because I thought that's what we were getting. I couldn't wait to see this running game. But man, was I duped.
Especially like Indy is like it from San Diego. Both of those two places run the rock.
Facts.
They both. Why you think Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks? Because they got a running game. Why you think Tom Brady's doing so good this year? Because Fournette's balling. Why you think Dak looks so good right now? Because Zeke is balling and Pollard's balling over there. You know what I'm saying? Why you think any of the best teams in the league, besides maybe Arizona now, and they still got it. Connor's playing some good football. He's getting carries at least. You know what I'm saying? It's helped setting up their offense. So
I think one of the biggest issues is we got to understand too, Nick Sirianni has a wide receiver background, so he's coaching the game. Is it fair to say, guys, that Nick Sirianni is coaching this offense from a wide receiver perspective? Like he has wide receiver eyes. That's why Doug Peterson was able to take Nick Foles and go, finish the Super Bowl because he was a former quarterback. He understands how to see the field. And for me, Nick Sirianni, he has to relinquish his duties as the offensive coordinator. You
want to hear something about that? What you just said? I don't even think if Carson didn't get hurt, we would have won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He changed his offense. We ran the ball more. That's when LeGarrette Blount took over. You know what I'm saying? Because
and then we went to go sign Jay Ajayi.
Yes. That's when things got real interesting. Our offense took a whole nother level because we had LeGarrette Blount run the ball, Jay Ajayi on these long runs up the field. You know what I'm saying? That helps your receivers get open and look a lot better. Receivers aren't going to get 15, 16 catches a game. You know what I'm saying? Like receivers, a good game for receivers should be 7 catches, 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You know what I'm saying? You're 7 times, you were wide open, you did your thing, and that's it. Because your running is the base of your offense. You know? The first play you learn in any division is probably a run play. First day you go to training camp, first day you go to Hell Week, the first day you go to any football, Pop Warner, whatever. The first play you're learning is a run play.
But isn't this funny? Like let's just like really sit in this idea that the Eagles are sellers now on their former first round picks, Jalen Reagor and Andre Dillard, but we're signing guys to multi-million-dollar deals that we drafted in the 5th round and then 6th round. You see Quez Watkins having success. I mean, Howie Roseman, he has got to go. And the reason why I say he's got to go, like for me, Jalen Hurts is the franchise quarterback, period. Yeah. But I am most afraid of, this is what I fear right now in Philadelphia, is not these losses. I fear that the Eagles are going to have the 2nd overall pick, the 4th overall pick, and the 6th overall pick in next year's draft. And then Howie Roseman is going to be charged to select the talent. I'm afraid of that.
Or you know what he's going to do? He's going to get Deshaun Watson, and we're going to lose all the capital and all that stuff. But we got to get rid of him before that even thinks about that going on. But I was going to say before I forget is that Zach Ertz, he wasn't giving us 100 this year because he knew he was on the trading block. He was just playing the play right now. And it is what it is, man. I mean, shout out to him for getting us that championship ring. You know, without Ertz, you know, the Eagles don't have that. But that being said, we weren't getting 100 out of Zach Ertz, man. That being said, Dallas, I hope they do something for you to get you the rock, but I right now, guys, it looks bleak right now. I mean, they're not even doing our quarterback justice right now. And Miles, I mean, I could go on and on who's not getting justice, but Nick Sirianni, you know, you could keep saying you didn't execute. It's not even executing. You don't know what you're doing at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's
Man.
a fact.
And my boy Grant here says 25 in the chat. Hit that like. I like it. Go ahead.
You know, so at this point, gentlemen, you know, it is kind of like sit back and relax and stuff, but it's getting so god awful where it's just getting absolute ridiculous at this point. And I will be in Las Vegas representing the Birds to the day I die.
Yeah.
And I hope somehow, some way, something changes or whatever. But it is what it is, man. I'm still gonna ride or die. I'm still gonna support my guys on the field and rock out for the Birds. But that being said, you know, you guys are tuning into the great content creators right here. You guys make sure you guys always follow these guys and listen to them. Go Birds, and the Birdman has got to go to work. So I'll check you guys later, man, and much love.
All right, bro, man. Be safe out there.
Thanks. Yeah, you guys, if you guys have not subscribed to my boy Birdman 951, go hit him up and subscribe to the guy. We're gonna see if I can drop your link inside the chat right now. So if you guys have not, go subscribe to him. Great Eagles content creator, great fan. You know, he puts out some really good content out there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. We went hard on him. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what topics have we missed here. I feel like we're still missing some topics. I feel like we got so caught up on Jalen and Nick that we skipped over something.
Yeah.
On a video getting traded to Arizona. Yeah, man, that was rough, man. But he's happy too. You know, he's happy. He's about to be balling out in Arizona. You know, but like you said too, we can't just think about trading everybody right now because they will be better on other teams. You know what I'm saying? Like you've seen it happen year after year. You know, you've seen Rasul Douglas go play better in Carolina. You've seen Jones, that was a second round pick that we were hoping to be a star cornerback for us, go play better other teams. You know, it is one of them situations where either whoever's at the top is Lori for not firing Howie. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago, making or just keeping Howie at his job. You know what I'm saying? He gave him some leash, and then he forgot. It feels like after he gave it back to him after the Chip Carey thing, he didn't want to rescind it back again. It's a year-to-year league. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing what you're supposed to do 1 year, doesn't mean the next year you're going to do what you're supposed to do. If you got to take it back the next year, take it back. You know what I'm saying? Pull the reins back in. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be buddy and letting him keep rolling and destroying your organization. This is your business. This is your franchise. This is your situation. It has your name on it. You got to make big boy calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then from there, Howie, you know what I'm saying? The people you draft, just because you draft them don't mean they got to stay. There's plenty of first-round busts. You know what I'm saying? And everybody like Howie's done when they got first-round busts. Every team gets first-round busts. You know what I'm saying? Every year, you know, maybe 10 of the, 32 first-rounders are stars. You know, there's some of them are good, and then some of them are bust. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to get 32 all-stars in the league every year, or there'd be a lot more good players in the league right now. You know?
Yeah, man. Howie Roseman, he leads the league in drafting consecutive busts.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does. He draft. I mean, oh yeah. Hey, Richie MC, you know I was thinking about you. Shout out again to Moochie Robinson and to my bro Daniel. Make sure you guys check out the BIRDGANG Media. The BIRDGANG Mafia channel on Sundays. Richie, he was going to be on our show. All of the panelists said that the Eagles were going to take an L. We were just trying to tell the truth. And Richie said, "Oh man, you guys are trio of haters." And look what happened. The Eagles took an L. But shout out to you, Richie MC, man. Always showing love.
Then RPO plays is really running plays. Yeah, they're not really running plays, man. A running play is a running play. When you hike the ball, you hand it off. That is a running play. You guys. But yeah, man, what you got any more topics that we've been going on for about an hour and a half strong? I know your time schedule. You know what I'm saying? I'll stay on this thing forever.
Let me go through my notes, man. I just want to be clear, man. Jalen Hurts didn't have a great game, but when you look at the play calling, it's just bad. It's that bad to where like how it really absolves Jalen Hurts, man. It's like, how do you really, you know what I mean? Like, how do you really point the finger at him? You know what I mean? Because it's where you can't 1 week, you put up 400 yards, 400 plus yards on Kansas City, and then the next 2 weeks you can't even get 80 yards by the second half. So that's a red sign. Red flag that, Nick Sirianni, he wasn't the right pick, man. For me, honestly, I think the Eagles, we should have went with Deuce Staley. And I know this is we can't go back, but I think we should have went with Deuce Staley. Yeah, I think we should have went with Deuce Staley.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of other coaches that was out there that was available that we could have went with.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, Miles Sanders probably would have had the best season of his career had Deuce Staley been the head coach. Because Deuce Staley is not going to get away from the run. You know that for a fact. He is not going to get away from the run. And for me, I don't like the identity that the Eagles have behind Nick Sirianni. Like, Deuce Staley would have been more of a, no nonsense kind of guy, more of a militant kind of guy. But I think the schedule is going to get easier. I think there will be, light at the end of the tunnel. I think Jalen Hurts just needs to continue to try to figure out this mess that is, Nick Sirianni, and just do his best in the situation. So that's what we got right now.
And like, we got a poll up, you know what I'm saying? We want to know, do you think it's Nick's fault? Do you think it's Jalen's fault? Do you think it's both or something different? You know what I'm saying? Let us know in that poll, man. Let us know. We want to find out. What do you guys think? Whose fault is it? Who's the number one, public enemy number one for the Philadelphia Eagles right now? Responsibility as a rookie coach. Yeah, we're giving him a lot of responsibility too. And I get it, he's a rookie coach. You're gonna see some ups and downs or whatever, but like the stuff that we're bad at is really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we seen Dougie P. He was a coordinator when he first came. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't that bad. It took to after he won that Super Bowl before he got really bad as a coach, because then he was too cocky and he's like, oh, I got to do my thing. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, Dougie P. wasn't that bad. But yeah, guys, we're about to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We've been on here for an hour and a half, man. Thanks, Pablo, for coming on the show again.
No
man.
problem.
Go ahead and let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah, man, you guys can check me out over at Pablo Gary. Love to have you guys over. Thank you so much, man, for bringing me on the show. In front of your family, man. And at the end of the day, man, I bleed green just like each and every one of you guys. I'm a fan first. So, man, just thank you guys for coming on, and thank you, Bird Gang, and to your wife as well, man. You guys, great hosts, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. And we have one more question. He said, if you got rid of Howie, who would you replace him with? My vote for GM would be Dennis Hinckley. Who was the Ravens GM?
Ozzie Newsome. He's retired though. Ozzie Newsome.
Bring him back.
Though. Right.
Bring him back, because he made a roster over there. Bring back Ozzie. I'll try my hardest to get that guy to come out of retirement. But I don't really know that many. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really know that many GMs. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. It's like, that's not really a position. Like, a lot of them kind of do. Like, different teams have different structures where the GM is basically just the guy that's the money man. You know what I'm saying? That takes care of that kind of stuff, as opposed to a guy that actually influences the team. You know what I'm saying? So that's a hard question. I don't know if you got an answer for me. I don't have one for that.
Yeah, no, I don't really know too many general managers right now that sort of are in line. Honestly, I'm at the place where I can sort of accept anybody. Honestly, anybody other than Howie Roseman, anybody
but Howie.
Anybody at this point, because we just need to. I mean, he's been a general manager for 20 years, man, since I was 8 years old. I mean, it's getting bad. It's not it. So
keep on slipping. That's another thing that I did not talk about. That yes, Quez Watkins needs to start. Period. End of story. To me, I think he's our best receiver that we have on our team that just don't get enough targets, and this doesn't get, because the offense isn't schemed. It's schemed around Devontae. The pass game is schemed around Devontae Smith. You shouldn't have a scheme around any player for real. When you got 3 talents like that, this offense should be open, and then whoever the best man is on the play should get the ball. You know what I'm saying? But you're scheming around Devontae Smith. When Quez, did you see that catch? Quez jumped over that guy, even though, you know what I'm saying, like, he jumps over people. He slides the feet. He does everything you want to see from a wide receiver, man. I definitely agree. Quez Rager should definitely be that third receiver.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it, like I said, man, earlier on, Nick Sirianni, he lied to all of us, and we bit the cheese, man. He said that he was going to put Jalen Rager in the slot. He didn't do that at all. So, for me, it's just Howie Roseman has to go, man, because when you got a 6th, 7th round guy out producing your 1st round pick, 23rd player overall, I mean, you're hurting us at this point. So,
Yeah, man. Hey, and also, guys, membership is available. You know what I'm saying? All the nation can go ahead, and jump on the nation train. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got the nation membership coming up here. Either it's up right now or definitely be up by the morning. So check that out. We'll just keep kind of rolling. If you have not checked out the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk merch store, go check it out. We're starting to get some sales in there. People are really starting to like the items that are in there. So check it out. We also got one for the network, the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Media store is on there too as well. Go check out, we got some good content creators. They got all their favorite logos, all the favorite sayings or whatever are all in the media store. So go check us all out, help support this. We're growing, we're all growing as one big family. We're going to keep bringing new members in the family. We're going to keep growing all as one to give you the best Eagle experience you possibly have here on YouTube. So, check us all out. We're working hard for you. You know what I'm saying? All this week, we got some really big Raider content creators coming on the show. So be on the lookout for that. And, much love. We still got 20 in here. Much love to all you guys. I love all you
Absolutely.
guys.
Absolutely.
You guys really make the show. And I can't wait to see you guys again next time. So like I always say at the end of my shows, fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, this was BIRDGANG Nation Sport Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG 31, and we are out.
Peace, guys.
Welcome to the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! BIRDGANG 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your rest there. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers. The Rager young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on. In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the BIRDGANG Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk. Hitting like B-Dog, baby.